Hello there, it's Ikram, and in this episode, I'm going to share with you my story of social rejection and how I overcame it at university. Stick with me to the end, I'm going to share with you the 8 tips that I developed back in university to overcome social awkwardness and build countless relationships and friendships. Everything started in the first year and the first day of primary school. Why I got rejected by my peers and got outcasted is because of the teacher. She treated me very badly. The reason being to please the rich kids and their parents. I was not the only victim. Even though I tried to build friendships, I couldn't. I feel like she isolated me from the whole class. The only time when I could breathe was in the French lesson because it was with another teacher. The situation stayed the same for 3 years until my parents decided that it was best to change me to another class and another teacher. And that saved me. It was in my 4th grade at primary school. And for the first time, I had friends. The teacher was nice to everyone and even helped me to make friends. Thanks to that, I had 2 amazing years. But nothing lasts forever. I graduated primary school and got into elementary school, and things didn't work well for me. I was in the same class as my brother, who was a top class student, while I was an average student. Some teachers use that as an excuse to harass me mentally, always comparing me to my brother and treating me like an idiot in front of the whole class. Some mocked my hair, and others mocked me for watching and liking animation, even saying it's for kids. The funny thing is that we were 12 years old, we were kids, and all that bad treatment caused a sort of friction between me and the other girls. And I did not get along with them. They didn't like me, they thought that I was childish. I don't blame them for thinking that. The teachers pushed them to think so. But even though I didn't get along with girls, there was one that didn't mind me. Her and boys. I endured the mental harassment for 4 years. In these 4 years, I started to hate teachers, school, and started having excessive daydreaming, zero confidence and self-esteem. After graduating elementary school and enrolling in high school, my life became calm. Some girls from my old elementary school said to me that I became a calm person and mature in some way, and they liked me now. But in reality, I suffered from social anxiety. I felt emotionally drained and exhausted. I was a depressed person. After 1 year, we moved to another city. It was in my 2nd year of high school, and I had a simple and very calm life in my new high school. Here in the new city, actually not that new because it's my natal city, life is much easier. At first, it was hard. I didn't approach anyone. My social awkwardness did not let me. Even when girls tried to approach me, somehow I found myself unable to answer them. The teachers were nice, and thanks to a very sociable girl I became friends with, she helped me open up a little bit to other girls of my class. Overall, they were all very humble and nice. I had a peaceful 2 years at this high school. I made friends, yes, but my anxiety did not disappear, nor my social awkwardness. Plus, I became very sensitive and weak. When someone says something hurtful, I used to not stop them. I couldn't dare say anything to anyone, especially adults. Every time I needed to say something, I would overthink it and analyze everything, their faces, their reactions. I always ended up having the same negative thoughts that popped up in my head. What if they start to hate me and they will stop being my friends? After overthinking and my body started to shake, my voice as well, and I ended up not saying what I wanted to say, I bore the pain in silence and without realizing I developed trust issue. I didn't trust my friends or open up to them. Because of that, my life was going in one direction. From school, I went straight home. I never hung out with the girls or stayed at school late to chat with them. As weak as I was, I did everything to forget and bury all these problems by distracting my mind, that by staying in front of the computer watching animation all my free time. And to be honest with you, I didn't know that what I have been through are the consequences of social rejection. Based on Psych social rejection leads the child to depression, emotional pain, mental exhaustion, sadness, avoidant coping behavior like substance use, compulsive video game playing, or television watching. In my case, it's the use of computer and watching animation. There is as well the long-term effect of rejection for adults who have experienced rejection in their childhood. The effect manifests as emotional invalidability, a strong sense of independence, not asking for help when needed and doing the work alone, not relying on anyone so we don't bother anyone. It took me a lot to stop doing that and actually learn to ask for help when needed. There is as well difficulty trusting others. So that is my story with social rejection in my childhood. The reason why I share my story today is that I know that I'm not the only one who suffered from it. And by sharing it, I may make someone feel less lonely and console them. I want to say to you as well that there will always be people who had the same bad experiences as you, and they will get you and know how much pain you have been through. And based on the article, Causes and Consequences of Social Exclusion and Peer Rejection among Children and Adolescents, approximately 10% of children are rejected by their peers. These children are actively disliked by many of their peers and are liked by few or none of them. Exclusion may have different causes, but frequently the outcomes are the same for victims. So yeah, the reasons may be different than mine. Maybe you had other causes and a different story, but we have been through the same outcomes and the same pain and suffering. If that can help you feel less lonely and console you in any way, then the purpose of this podcast has been achieved. And if you are dealing with this today, please do not accept things as they are. You don't deserve to suffer. You deserve to have a beautiful life and be surrounded by friends and people who loves you and care for you. So please, ask for help. Ask your parent, a teacher you trust, an adult you trust, and things will change for the better. Well, for university, I really needed to build relationships and that to build teams for the projects. It's at that time when I decided to take control over my life and try to change things for myself as an adult, rather than regret it later. It was super hard at first. I was like, what if everything goes wrong? What if no one wants to befriend me and work with me? And countless other negative thoughts. But I didn't let my mind control me. And that by pushing myself to go and meet people with that body of mine that shakes in front of people and that voice that you can barely hear because it shakes. And believe me, it's so worth it. And like I promised you, here are the 8 tips that I employed in my 5 years at university to build friendships and good relationships with people. The first one is prove your value, but do not provide it to all. People with skills are surrounded because they are needed. Someone told me this, and it's really true. In my case, I was known as someone good at French, and this language is really needed in the university in our country. The thing is, my classmates were not good at French, so they needed my skill, but I did not provide it to all. The skill you have and others do not have will make you a valuable person and needed. That can be a language or any other skill, like coding, writing, and so on. But do not provide this skill to everyone. People will get used to the fact of you giving them what they need easily, and they will take it for granted. They will not put an effort to be nice and in a good relationship with you. They will take you for pushover and they will not respect you. And that's what we need to avoid. Being strict about when and who to provide this service to is very important to gain people's respect. It's a win-win relationship. They get to be good to you and get along with you, and they get your help when it's really needed. Not all the time, like working on a project together as a team. So if you have specific skill that is needed in the university and that your classmates need, you need to showcase your skill and use it often. That skill will be part of your identity and that will boost your reputation and your confidence, which is super good. Tip number 2, smiley face. What I mean is, we introverts and people who suffer from social anxiety tend to have a poker face all the time when we are outside. We look so serious, but the truth is that we try to hide what we really feel when we are in a crowded place so that people do not figure out that we are socially awkward or that we are terrified. But what we do as well, the first kind of face is that we push people away who try to approach us. They take our poker face as do not approach me, and believe me, no one on earth wants to deal with difficult people. That's what everyone hates the most. We need to avoid that. My first friend that I made in my second year of university was thanks to a smile. We became friends after we smiled at each other. It really works, especially with sociable people. What a smile says is, I like you, I'm happy to see you. Your presence makes me happy. Well, a smile doesn't cost anything, but creates many things. Dal Carnegie. I'm not telling you to smile at everyone. That may attract bad people. For my case, I only smile at people that I want to get to know. And smiling really works with sociable people. You only need to smile at them and they will do the rest. They are the easiest to get to know, and having one as a friend makes life better. The third tip is use your connection. One person will lead you to another one. Becoming friends with your friend's friend is much easier than getting to do that as strangers to each other. Most of the people I worked with on different projects at the university are friends of my friends. It was easier to get to know them because of the friends that we had in common. The people you meet using your connection will trust you and be open to talk to you freely, especially if this friend you have in common has talked about you with them. It's a good thing to try to meet your friends' friends. It's not always comfortable, but it's so worth it. But you need to choose wisely who of your friends you want to meet their friends based on their personality and preferences. People tend to attract people who resemble them. That doesn't apply to sociable people because she will attract all sorts of people, which is kind of fun. Another thing is to pay attention to your friends' feelings. There are some people who do not wish to share their friends with anyone, like insurance people. Sociable people don't mind that, but keep this in mind so you avoid some troubles. The fourth tip is avoid conflicts and be neutral. One of my friends used to get herself into futile problems and conflicts with others. Even though she was very sociable and popular, but she did not know how to manage her social life, always rushing to cut off her friendship with others without reflecting on her actions. The thing is, I never took part in any of her conflicts, and I never took any side. I liked her, but that doesn't mean I will take her side and blame others for meaningless problems. The same goes for all my friends. I don't take any side of any conflict unless it's a really serious matter, which is very rare. Just because you really like your friend or it's the only friend you have, it's not a valid reason to get dragged into their meaningless problems that will only cause you troubles, only if it's really serious conflict. Another thing, the friend that I talked about at the end, we called off our friendship. She never respected my vision and opinions, but at least I did not lose my other friends because of the conflicts she triggered. It's good to have a friend, a close one that you really like, and you are willing to make sacrifices for them. But do not do that at the expense of others who like and respect you and at the expense of your well being. Tip number 5, be confident by faking it. It will always be the same for me, you, or anyone. We all feel stressed and nervous when we meet new people or start a new job or a new project, which is normal. The thing is, there is a plus for the people who are socially awkward and anxious, and it depends on the person. For example, for me, my legs and voice shake, and in the end of the day, I have to deal with the pain of anxiety, and that every time I meet a new person or I had to do a project presentation in front of the whole class or go to a certain event. Even though it's super hard to manage all of this, but one thing I manage to do is to fake the confidence, as if I was confident and capable of doing all the things I find hard easily. Even though I will still shake, but that did not stop me from speaking. I ignored my body at least until I finished what I needed to do, so that I won't regret it later. At least I tried. I did that for the past 5 years until I got my master's degree. And now I can meet people and go to events and meet my clients with confidence. That doesn't mean I don't feel stressed and nervous, but not like before. That may be different for you. Maybe you have other effects you deal with because of social anxiety. And yes, it's hard to deal with and to manage. But still, having to try and fake the courage and confidence in order to accomplish what you wanted is so worth it. And you will not regret it. They say act like the person you want to become. And what we want the most is the confidence to face people. It starts with a fake one and it will become a real thing, believe me. Tip number 6, good listener. Well, this is a skill that everyone should learn. People in general and our friends specifically do not care much about our success and problems as much as they care about their problems and success. And they prefer to talk and brag about it to you. And they really like that person who listens and focuses on what they are saying without interrupting or judging them. That shows how much you care about them. Not everyone needs advice or someone to help them. They need someone to talk to. And that person to only listen really carefully. It's a very good skill to learn and to improve your communication skills in general because communicating with someone is not always about saying what they really need to hear. It's more about listening and understanding them before anything else. Working on your communication skills and how to talk to people is a must for a better social and professional life. Tip number 7, don't talk about your social anxiety to anyone. I told one of my friends about my social awkwardness and anxiety, thinking it would help us get closer. We were close, so I thought, why not be more open? What I ended up with was her trying to use it against me. I don't know if it was unintentional or not, but I decided to believe in her actions. Thank God I was working on myself to try and heal. After 2 years of friendship, she started to change. She tried to control me and use my weaknesses against me. She tried to put me in difficult situations with others. I won't go into too much detail, but I noticed she's the type of person who will do anything to achieve her goals. She used many people, not once or twice, but many times. It took me 2 years to step back and keep safe distance from her. Actions speak louder than words. So yes, my piece of advice to you is do not tell anyone about your social anxiety or any kind of trauma except to your family and very close people that you really trust. The final tip is learn to reject people without turning them into enemies. One of the things that I learned in university is that rejection is a right and a way of self-defense rather than a negative thing. We reject things and people who try to harm and hurt us, and those who don't respect our vision. But we should do it in a diplomatic way so that we avoid turning them into enemies. When I was a child, I had this negative idea about rejection as an evil and mean act. It's half true. For a child, rejection is very bad and harmful for their mental health. I still have the same position about it. Children do not have to deal with or experience rejection. When you see a child rejected by his or her peers, it's always an adult's fault, directly or indirectly, whether it's a teacher or a parent. Children are innocent and they don't have the same standard as adults. If a child is rejected by his or her peers, it's the teachers and parents' responsibility to know why and how to help this child make friends. But in the adult world, it's different. There are some who are harmful, disrespectful, even aggressive. And there are those who we don't get along with. So to protect ourselves physically and mentally, we need to keep safe distance from them. And that's what I do. If I don't like someone because she doesn't respect my vision or opinions, or is mean to me for no reason, I will not befriend that person. And if we are friends, I will call off our friendship. That's it. You are going to meet a lot of people like this in university or in a professional life. And to avoid turning them into my enemies, because I already have many things to deal with and I don't need more troubles, it's simply by keeping a safe distance and stop interacting with them as much as possible. I can say hi to them if I meet them by coincidence, but I'm not stopping to chat with them. If we belong to the same group, I don't mind being in the same place with them occasionally, but I will avoid talking or expressing my opinions as much as possible. When you reach this stage in life, you are going to make some modifications to some of your beliefs, like how you see rejection, because it will become a necessity at some point, especially in the adult world. And if you reach this stage, I shall congratulate you for having the courage to do so, and for the long journey you have been through, from a person who does not have friends at all to choosing carefully friends and the people you surround yourself with. Going through social rejection and social anxiety is not easy at all and needs so much time and work to heal. And I advise you to seek help to heal and move on. And again, if you are dealing with social rejection and anxiety today in school, ask for help from your parent. And if you are a parent and your child is going through this, please do not let your child go through such hardship and traumatic experience. The best way to help your child is to change him to another school and start all over again. I will read all the comments, so if you have been through such experience, tell us your story and how you managed to overcome it. And if you have any questions, I will answer them. Tell me what you think about this episode. Please write it in the comment section. That's all for today's episode. Thank you for listening and see you the next time.